What happens when one of pop music's biggest stars walks into a daytime talk show expecting a relaxed chat, only to find herself in the middle of the most heated conversation of her career? The energy in the studio becomes tense, the air thick with anticipation. What begins as a simple question about her new album quickly spirals into a confrontation that no one saw coming. Before we dive into this dramatic exchange, hit that subscribe button and tell us in the comments what you think about celebrity interviews that turn unexpectedly intense. Katy Perry arrives at The View, ready to promote her latest music. The crowd is thrilled. The hosts are all smiles, and everything seems set for an easy, upbeat segment. Whoopi Goldberg starts with some friendly questions about Katy's career and journey in the industry. The audience is fully engaged. Joy Behar adds a few jokes. Sarah Haynes asks about the creative process behind the new album, and Katy gives thoughtful, lively responses. She's confident and comfortable. Then Sunny Hostin leans forward, and the tone changes. If you've watched The View before, you know Sunny doesn't shy away from tough questions. She dives deep, and this time she takes everyone by surprise, including Katy. Sunny starts, "Katy, I'd like to ask about something that's been discussed a lot recently. You've spoken about feminism and empowerment, but some critics say your words and actions haven't always matched. How do you respond to that?" Katy's expression tightens, her smile fading just a little. She takes a breath and replies, "That's quite a way to frame a question. What contradictions are you referring to?" Sunny continues, "Well, you've talked about supporting women, but there have been public disputes where people said your behavior didn't align with that message. How do you explain that?" The other hosts exchange uneasy looks. This isn't the kind of conversation The View usually has during a music promotion. Katy sits up straighter. "I think what you're doing is simplifying complex situations to fit a particular story. I've made mistakes, sure, but I've also owned them and learned from them. Having disagreements doesn't make me a hypocrite." Sunny responds calmly, "I'm not calling you a hypocrite. I'm asking you to address how perception shapes your message. You've built your brand around empowerment, and that comes with a certain responsibility." Katy's tone sharpens. "I've been in this business for 15 years. I've changed, I've grown. That's what growth looks like. It's strange we're focusing on my personal credibility instead of real issues affecting women." The audience reacts with mixed sounds, some clapping, others murmuring. Whoopi tries to lighten things, but Sunny isn't done. "You've spoken about girl power and women supporting women," she says, "but in some cases your actions haven't seemed to match that." Katy leans in, her composure cracking slightly. "Every choice I make has context. You don't know what's happening behind the scenes, legal limits, personal boundaries, or mental health reasons. You're judging from headlines, not reality." Sunny replies, "Then help us understand. From the outside, it looks like your message gets louder when it's convenient." The tension in the studio is undeniable. Joy attempts a joke, but no one laughs. Katy raises her voice slightly. "You want to understand? The music industry is ruthless, especially for women. Sometimes we make choices just to survive. I've supported women in private ways you'll never hear about because not everything needs to be broadcast for approval." Sunny keeps her tone steady. "I'm not questioning your private actions. I'm asking about what the public sees," Katy interrupts. "The same public platform where I've raised money for causes, spoken about mental health, and tried to be transparent." "Why are we only talking about what fits your story?" Sunny replies. "Those efforts are commendable, but they don't erase the need for accountability. You can do good things and still be questioned about others." Katy's voice gets colder. "Accountable? This feels less like accountability and more like a public trial. Tell me, when was the last time a male artist was grilled about whether his beliefs matched his behavior?" The audience reacts loudly. Sunny pauses. "That's a fair point about double standards." "But that doesn't mean we shouldn't ask questions. It means we should ask them to everyone." Katy shakes her head. "But you're not asking everyone. You're asking me today when I came to talk about my music. Feels like an ambush." Sunny raises an eyebrow. "It's not an ambush to ask about your statements." Katy replies sharply, "It feels like you made up your mind about me before this started. You're not listening. You're trying to make a point." Joy tries again to break the tension. "Well, this got serious fast," she jokes weakly. Sunny continues, "Public figures face scrutiny." "That's part of the job," Katy shoots back. "I didn't choose music to be judged endlessly." I chose it to create and connect. The constant judgment is something I've had to learn to endure. Sunny says, then maybe think carefully about your public messages. If you don't want to be held to those standards, don't set them. Katy's voice rises. So I should stop speaking about issues I care about because I'm not perfect? That's your advice? Sunny answers, no, I'm saying if you speak about them, expect questions. Sarah tries to step in. Maybe there's a middle ground here, she says gently. Katy turns to her. I understand, but men get redemption arcs. Women get interrogations. The audience applauds. Sunny replies, that's true, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't have this conversation. I'm asking to be treated fairly, Katy says firmly. This feels like you came here to take me down. Sunny's tone hardens. That's not true. I'm doing my job. Katy answers, your job seems to be holding women to impossible standards. Her frustration is obvious now. Whoopi steps in again. This is passionate, but both of you make good points. Katy, still emotional, says, it's easier to tear down another woman than to talk about why we do this to each other in the first place. The crowd gasps. Sunny replies sharply, so you think I'm performing? Katy doesn't flinch. Yes. You're performing morality while tearing me down on national television. Sunny says, I'm a lawyer, Katy. I ask questions. Katy responds, and I'm an artist who's tired of women like me being put on trial for imperfection. Joy nervously suggests a break, but neither backs down. Sunny says, if you can't reconcile your statements and actions without feeling attacked, maybe that's part of the issue. Katy laughs without humor. There it is. If I defend myself, I'm too sensitive. I'm fine with criticism, not with being used as a prop for someone else's point. Sunny replies, these are questions people have. Katy answers, then why do I feel like this is a setup? I've done dozens of interviews, none like this. Whoopi raises her hands. Ladies, let's calm down. Katy's voice cracks slightly. I feel like I walked into a courtroom, not a talk show. Sunny says, if it feels that way, maybe you're being defensive. Katy shakes her head. Have you ever made a mistake, Sunny? Said something you regret? Would you want millions judging you for it? Sunny admits, of course. But I'm not a global figure. Katy replies, so because I'm successful, I can't be human? I can't make mistakes? Sarah adds, with influence comes responsibility. Katy doesn't look away from Sunny. Feminism isn't a checklist. It's complicated because people are complicated. Sunny responds, that doesn't mean we shouldn't have standards. Katy says quietly, you're not hearing me. You think my advocacy is fake. It's not. You just don't want to believe it. Sunny says, I'm pointing out facts. That's not a narrative. Katy exhales, visibly fighting frustration. Here's reality. I've survived in an industry that destroys women. I've made imperfect choices, but I've also used my platform to do good. Yet I'm still treated like a fraud for not being flawless. Sunny replies, no one's calling you a fraud, but people will examine your consistency. Katy's eyes glisten. I've stumbled and gotten back up. But I guess my best still isn't good enough. Sunny softens a little. It's not about me. It's about accountability. Katy shakes her head. No, it's about you deciding I'm the example of imperfection today. Why me? Sunny seems taken aback. I'm just asking questions. Katy answers, then ask about my music, not my character. Whoopi finally says, let's shift to the album. But Katy isn't done. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. When interviews become trials, it makes me want to stop speaking out. Why bother if nothing's ever enough? Her honesty fills the room. Even Sunny's expression softens. Joy says gently, that's a sincere answer. Sunny nods. I understand your frustration, but I still believe public figures need accountability. Katy nods slowly. Accountability shouldn't mean public punishment. It should mean reflection, not destruction. Sarah adds, maybe that's the real takeaway. We hold each other to impossible standards. Katy smiles faintly. Exactly. We can challenge each other without turning it into a fight. Sunny sighs. Maybe my tone was too sharp, but my goal wasn't to attack you. Katy replies, intent matters less than impact. This felt like judgment, not dialogue. Whoopi nods. Sometimes real conversations aren't comfortable, Joy adds, and uncomfortable can still be necessary. Katy says softly, I don't need comfort. I need fairness. Sunny meets her eyes. That's fair. And for what it's worth, I believe you're trying. The tension eases. Katy breathes out, visibly drained. Whoopi wraps up. We'll be right back to talk about the album. The studio feels heavy but alive. As cameras fade out, Katy and Sunny share a quiet moment of mutual understanding, even if nothing is fully resolved. What just happened wasn't a typical celebrity interview. It was an unfiltered conversation about feminism, accountability, and the expectations placed on women in public life. Katy came to promote her album but ended up defending her principles. Sunny came to ask questions and found herself challenged too. In that heated exchange, something real was revealed about how we hold each other accountable and how easily fairness turns into judgment. So what do you think? Did Sunny go too far, or was she right to ask tough questions? Was Katy justified in feeling ambushed? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Do you think celebrities should be held to higher standards, or should they be allowed to be imperfect like everyone else?